Yeah! Hey, everybody. Welcome to Go Live!
Oh, shit.
Just
Hello!
What did you do?
It's not, I just knocked some tea over. Welcome to Go Live, everyone. This is the Saturday evening talk show. And yeah, you know what the drill is. We have an excellent show for you today. We've got so much gaming news. The floodgates are finally opened. And it's only just the beginning because E3 is still 2 weeks away, or less than 2 weeks away. Oh, yes, that's right. We have a very interesting panel here today. But you know what the drill is. We have to give props to the man who makes this possible. Without him, this wouldn't even be a thing. The genius, the ever modest, lovely, smart, infinitely more intelligent, and a guy with a new studio. And that's not a fake background. Ladies and gentlemen, the co-founder, co-host, and co-falafelator, Asa. How are you?
Woo!
Hi everyone. Yeah, that's very grand. Thank you, Safe. I've got nothing to add to that.
Yeah, man, your studio's looking good, man. I love.
Very nice, very nice.
Tasteful posters there.
With meaning. They're Sonic behind me, so that's from Sonic 2, the first game that I kind of got obsessed with. Skyrim on that side, I will probably be playing when I die, so first and last.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh wow. That's
good.
That's very deep, actually. I like that.
very deep.
You should write a book.
You should.
Could be soon, could be a long time away. Don't know.
You got your Pfizer jab, so you'll be living a little bit longer. That's good. So yeah, congrats on that. Hey, Carlos, Joel, everyone in the chat, Video Gauge D, I see you all. Oh, Ainsley, what's up, man? How you doing? The hat.
The sauce. I see that.
The sauce is real. The sauce is real. Ladies and gentlemen, we are really, really hyped for what's happening. You can tell E3 is about to start. We've got a lot of news to get into, but let me introduce the guest. For a long time, man, it's been an abstentio. I don't know what the Latin is, but a gentleman who we've had for a long, long time, but I haven't seen him for almost half a year. A gentleman who I came across randomly on YouTube, the ever so entertaining, and the man who goes by many names apparently, Tony Samurai Kibiji, West Side Otaku, something Otaku. West Side Otaku. Samurai, how are you doing, man? Thank you so much for joining us.
Hello! It is so good to be back here, man. This is like one of my favorite panels to be on. There's so much energy here, and seriously, man, I'm stoked. What triggered this multiple names? Did you see I did like an anime video this morning, and you're like, it does that too, I guess. Huh?
Yeah.
You're listed on the CIA website. There's actually a few pseudonyms there. I have some questions for you after the show, actually. Loads of nicknames.
Yeah, after the show. Don't give it away too much. But
No, secret. No.
But a debut, a gentleman who is not new to GameOnDaily. In fact, me and you.
What?
You go back a long time.
Oh shit!
This is like some fusion, Dragon Ball Z fusion here, because me and you.
It's very hard.
I don't know where we are on the screens. Yeah,
my camera's flipped, so I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh man, you have been with us. Like, I've known you since 360 magazine. That's how we
360 magazine, the forums.
360 magazine, the forums is when we met, and we've been talking to each other for ages. You've been on GameOnDaily in very different guises. You've been here to do our versus commentating, and you also appeared, ladies and gentlemen, if you does look familiar to you, he's not Omijaleli, but he is Jason Schreier in a different guise.
Different version of Jason Schreier.
Yeah, who had had the displeasure of getting punched in the face. That's part of the episode of The Source. If you didn't,
I was honored. I was honored to be punched by the Dark Knight.
Yeah, it is an honor to be punched by the Dark Knight. Safe, Zaki, thank you so much for joining us, man.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
It's going to be a sick show. It's going to be so much energy already. Guys, hit the like button. This is the show where we bring the energy. We don't force it.
Yeah.
It just flows through us. And
yeah, man. Hang on, I need to just top up.
What?
I'm ready.
What?
Eurovision. I got this, man.
Wow.
Let's talk games quickly.
That's not what it looked like, ladies and gentlemen, or sounded like. If you're
I
on
broke
Spotify,
a glass. That's why I was looking down.
I was gonna say, if you were just listening to that, oh boy.
I dropped some more glass. Hang on a second.
Wait, you're gonna get us banned with that.
I think Ace is in the background, like,
kidding.
what are we doing,
Ace is
man?
just, his dreams are being crushed, absolutely destroyed. Nah, don't worry. I'm kidding, guys. I'm kidding.
Yeah, we know. If you're joining us on Spotify, we apologize for whatever you think you heard, but thank you for hearing us. Yeah, this is going to be a great show. We want to jump straight into the topics. There's so many things we want to talk about, guys. Smash that like button, share it out.
Do it now. Share it.
Do it now, and make sure that you do. Remember, this is your show as much as it's ours, so we'll try our best to keep up the chat, and I'll try and address your comments on here because it's going to be fun to get your take on this.
Yeah, I'm having a look as well. So.
Yeah, let's have a very good.
Let's interact. Let's interact, guys. Help me help you. Help me.
Exactly.
Help you.
Yeah, let's do that. And let's just go straight into some topics. There's loads there. Asa has forwarded on to me a list of amazing topics. So I feel like I almost have to blitz through these. Last time we were on the show, we didn't have the benefit of the Biomutant reviews come out. We were very eagerly looking forward to what that's looking like. And so there was a little bit of drama with Biomutant. A lot of Xbox fans tried to beat their chest and celebrate that PlayStation 5 version of it's running in 1080p. And the Xbox is just doing it 4K because its backward compat system is better. But then the reviews came out, and the reviews have been a little bit lukewarm, some bit divisive. Ains in the chat really likes it. Some people in the chat don't like it. Some people in the review sphere, don't like it. Before I go into the guest, though, and I'm always conscious of the fact that you only get to speak in the intros and then run the show for the rest of the show. But Asa, I want to get your view on what you think what's happening. One, with the Biomutant resolution stuff, is it a big deal or you're not surprised? And also, but the have you played Biomutant? And what's your take on the reviews?
Yeah, do you know, so we spoke a little bit about the resolution last week, which it's not a big deal and it is a big deal. It's not a big deal in that it doesn't speak to what the PlayStation 5 is capable of, but it is a big deal in that it is what the PlayStation 5 is delivering for that game. So a lot of people
Asa, you have something cut off there. Sorry. You're back now. You're back.
Oh.
Yeah, something.
Okay, cool.
Is he back?
Yeah,
he's back.
Yeah. So like I was just saying, it's not a big deal. The PlayStation 5 is capable of running that game at 4K 60, and when they do the native PlayStation 5 version, it will work. But it is a big deal in that there are loads and loads of games, particularly for this first 1 or 2 years, that are cross-gen games, and PlayStation 5 fans are getting a subpar experience next to their Xbox kindred. I like to think they're kindred. I know they hate each other sometimes, but most of them don't. Yeah, so
we're all friends.
1080p is a big drop from 4K. It just is. As for the game itself, I haven't played it yet. I've just found out yesterday that I do actually have it on PC by accident. It's included in EA's subscription, so I downloaded it ready to give it a go. But yeah, reviews have been all over the place. Ains, who was in chat earlier, absolutely loved it. EA Play, they have a premium version of it on the PC, and they are using Biomutant to plug a gap in their own release schedule. So
yeah, it's been a. I was a bit disappointed. I haven't played it, but it says 20-man studio, and you always want them to do well. But hopefully the numbers will be good. I don't know. But, Tony, have you had a chance to play Biomutant?
I have not actually, but this game it's been like crossed my path the past 2 months, and I'm just like, visually this thing is stunning, and that's the main praise I kind of have for it without playing it is like, yeah, there's this whole spiel that I saw that a little bit on Twitter. I was like, okay, whatever. But but the game itself, I'm just like, art direction, and I've been tuning into the reviews too, and it seems like the kind of universal thing is art direction wise, this game is awesome. Between like the world design and the character designs and stuff, and maybe even how like certain things look when you do them. But yeah, I have not played it yet. I was interested, but I don't know. There's another thing that crossed my mind.
It's just one of those games that for me and I don't know if this is the case for you, but it's something like it would be good if it was on Game Pass, and that's what I would play it.
Yeah, I agree on that. Yeah.
Funny enough, I don't think so. Mostly because it's an open world, so I would be very scared. Because I get lost in open world games, man, and I'm like,
oh yeah.
Game Pass games, I like kind of being one in and one done kind of a thing. But
yeah,
like,
kind of quick play.
World,
I think
I get really scared.
With quick play games.
The fact that this is so you'll find if you look at the different subscription services, so PlayStation Now, Game Pass, and the ones that are on PC, so Ubisoft have one, and obviously the EA one that has Biomutant. Typically, the games that go to these services are from publishers that demonstrate they're willing to go to any of these services.
Yeah.
So THQ Nordic, in particular, have been the Darksiders games have been on PlayStation Now, Game Pass, EA, and everything. So Biomutant is very likely to come to a subscription service at some point, so long as it is critically reasonably well received. So.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think? Safe. Do you
didn't this game come out like 2 years ago? What the hell? Man, honestly, I actually heard about this a long time ago, and it looked really interesting. I thought it was a PC exclusive for the longest time, and then it kind of disappeared. It dropped off my radar. Lost interest. I wasn't particularly keen on it anyway, and now it's making some headlines. And I was actually reading recently they're going to patch it quite soon because of player feedback. They're going off that, which is good. At least they're listening to the players and getting that feedback and refining the game. But it looks really interesting. Art direction looks actually really cool. I like the design and everything. I was thinking of Rocket Raccoon when I first saw the main character. But apart from that, I don't know much about it. I'm not that bothered about playing it. It does strike me as a Game Pass kind of a good game for Game Pass. So I might wait for that if that's going to happen. But otherwise, it looks pretty cool, but not something I'm playing right now. I've got other things on the list, you know what I mean?
So you're right in that it had quite an interesting development in that they showed it a long time ago. They showed it about 2 years ago, and it got a really positive reception. And the developers, this small team of 20, got given more time and suddenly had a lot of weight on their shoulders. But that's a story that I'm not going to go into. I want to know what's not a good game for Game Pass.
What's not a good game for
Game
Pass?
Pass? Is a good game for Game Pass.
And I heard
any Ubisoft game. No, I'm joking.
I was hearing people I heard Seth and Gaz mention that, and I was like, it almost sounds like they're kind of making it sound like Game Pass is for games that I'm just not motivated to buy. I'm almost like,
I'll be honest with you, it does kind of feel like that for me, because sometimes I can't be bothered to spend on a particular game, and when I see it on Game Pass, I feel better about myself. Like, oh, okay, I can still play it. So it's kind of, I feel like I'm a little bit cheating, but I paid my subscription, man. I pay my bills, so why shouldn't I?
Yeah. Maybe that's a different. Maybe instead of, because I think it's because Game Pass is like this most, it's the most talked about gaming subscription and whatnot. Maybe instead our phrasing should be, if it's available with a subscription, I think I'd play it.
Yeah,
We just by default say Game Pass. But
exactly.
So it's like, I'm not willing to buy it, but if it's on a subscription, I'll play it. Kind of a thing.
It's kind of like when you're buying a movie or Blu-ray or something. First thing you ask is it on Netflix? Why should I have to go out of my way to go and buy it? So it doesn't strike me as the kind of game I would put that much effort into buying. But I don't know enough about it to make an informed decision. So it looks pretty cool, but I haven't played it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, the reason why I said it would be good on Game Pass is because of the reviews and because of the reception and because of the cost of games these days. Game Pass is good where you just, all right, let me try it, because normally, not wrong to base your opinion on trying to buy games on or not buy games if the review is lukewarm, especially when you've got a massive backlog like I do. Ashu in the chat says, do you know that Ascent will be $30 retail? That's crazy. And just said it's deep RPG. I didn't know that, but that's really impressive. Although I think most of us in the chat, and guys, if you disagree, let me know. We'll probably be playing it for free because it's on Game Pass. So irrespective of that, that's really good. Rookie says more patches are needed for Biomutant. That's exactly what Safe was saying, and yeah, it does. And I think the native 4K patch is coming out on the PlayStation.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
So it's a short-lived problem. It's $34 on G2A retail. So. Okay, that's really good. I can't wait to get into the Ascent, man. The Ascent looks so good. Oh man, that could be the game. The Cyberpunk set in co-op as well with friends and me and Cole and everyone. We're just like really hyped about playing that. So and be in touch with the devs as well. Hopefully we can have them on the show. They are a lovely team, lovely people. Group of 20 people. No, actually 20 people. 20 people. Yes, they're definitely people.
Cats. No.
No, you're thinking Biomutant there. But yeah. Asa, in your list of topics, you've sent to me Sonic games. I have no idea why you've added that. Am I missing?
I'm here. I'm here. I know exactly why you put that. Good job, Asa.
Go for it, Kibble. But just before you do, I just have to say I have been having nightmares about the athletics one. Like, don't know what that is, but
so creepy. What was up with that the running track one? Whoa, ooh. Sonic with human legs. Ugh, disgusting.
Sonic with human legs. What?
That's what it looks like. It's like
if Gaz doesn't know what this is, and I could take the reins on it, but
go for it.
I was wondering if that's also why you put that art in your studio. But this week, and I don't know how many of these stories we're gonna hit, but there was like 3 gameplay showcases, but there was also 2 anniversary streams, and one was for Dragon Quest and the other one was for Sonic. And Sonic it was a quick one. It was like 12-15 minutes or something, but it was pretty much just, and I think it's like part 1 of what'll be a second part in June, but they kind of showed up with mostly just kind of Sonic and peering and other stuff. That's what that Olympics one was like. Yeah,
I'm watching it now. What the hell is that?
It's so weird, dude. When I saw that, I was like, why would I want to do that?
That's Ace's childhood dream coming to haunt him at night.
Yeah.
Sonic is coming.
It looks like a guy in a Sonic costume.
Yes, a cosplay. Yeah,
I think that's what it's the idea of. Yeah, but you can play a Sonic in like this Olympic Games one. There's the upcoming Young Judgment or something game, like Continue Yakuza. You're gonna be able to play Sonic fighting game in that, and there's like a web series that they're doing, as well as, I had no idea this was a thing, but apparently it was already announced, like a Netflix animated series that a lot of animation vets are working on. And there's like an ultimate edition of a Wii game, Colors, but they ended with finally a new Sonic game after, I think the last new mainline Sonic game was 2017. So that's kind of
Generations, or what was the last one?
Sonic Forces. Yeah,
Forces,
that was by the main Sonic team.
Yeah.
I had a debate about this.
They've been rubbish though, haven't they, Tony? I haven't seen it. Does it look good? Is it like Sonic?
Well, no. It was like literally like a Metroid Prime 4, Elder Scrolls 6 kind of situation where they're just like, we're finally doing one.
Yeah, it's a quick CG trailer basically.
Yeah, 2022. So, and I really, I'm not a Sonic fan, but I got buddies that are, and they're really hoping it's good because, the last mainline one was meh. So,
rooting for it. I'm not. I mean, like we had Mike Rose on there, the guy who owns. I was gonna say Little Robot. What's wrong with me, man?
No more robots.
Come on, snap out.
No more robots. no pressure. No more robots. And he's a big Sonic fan. But he said, there's not been a good Sonic game in ages. Although I haven't played Sonic Mania, which is supposed
I was
to be
gonna say Sonic Mania, but it's funny, that wasn't even handled by the main Sonic team. I guess it was kind of like I don't remember the background.
Apparently, he's an indie developer, but he's a fan of the games, and he was developing his own version, like a remix of the classic Mega Drive or Genesis Sonic games. And then he came up with Sonic Mania. They liked it, and they gave him the green light to go ahead and it's actually really good. I've got it on the Switch.
Yeah, that was the last good Sonic game.
That's the last good one, But the 3D ones, I've never been a fan of Sonic in general. I'm a Nintendo fanboy, Mario for life. But the 3D Sonic games have never really lived up to expectations. There is a big love for Sonic Adventure because my friend had a Dreamcast. I used to go around play at his, so I do get the appeal. But the 3D Sonic games they normally just don't do it for me personally. But it's got its fans, so why not?
Yeah, you got no fans. But Asa, what do you want to add on Sonic? You added this on the list. Do you have an interesting take on Sonic with legs?
I do not. I've just been having nightmares about the athletics thing. I thought it probably needs to be on the list.
I just want to mention the athletics.
It has to be
Apparently, it's meant to be
you
a Sonic mascot. It says in the Isla said in the comments.
I don't care. That's fine. What they're supposed to be doing, but it's horrible, and I hate to see it, and I don't know what they're playing at. It's just that.
Yeah.
Like you said, we had Mike Groves on, and he had a good old rant about how you like Sonic, but you don't get good Sonic games. And I don't disagree. Like I say, Sonic 2 is there not for the new Sonic games, but because it was the first game that really hooked my attention, and that was a cool character. But also, so Safe being a Nintendo fanboy is really useful because people know that I play pretty much everything. I play like Xbox, PlayStation, PC, VR, anything going. Not really Nintendo. So he's just plugging that gap. That's perfect.
How dare you, sir? That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
I've got Super Mario in the background there. He's sitting there. Look at he's cute. Look at it.
He's not still standing.
He's watching over my
Glaring
retro consoles. Yeah, he's leering at me. It's kind of creepy. Actually, stop it. Turn around. Fucking crazy. Anyway.
Well, Sonic is not going to get us hot. What
were you about to say?
Oh man, I was going to say something wrong there.
Sonic doesn't get me hard.
I just want to agree here. Leon in the chat. Sonic Adventure was great. I agree. Sonic Adventure 1 and 2. Love those. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh no, Eternal Umbra. Why have you put that in the chat? Now that's stuck in my head. Follow me.
No,
set me free. Trust me, and we will. Okay, I'll be good.
There's so many. Oh, they're also gonna have a performance. That's another thing too. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, that was a sick tune. But the big news of this week. The big news of this week, and you can see from the thumbnail that our lovely graphic designer Jake expertly crafts Yadani Quezada. Thanks so much for the $2 super chat. It says Sonic Sauce. Sonic has ran out of sauce a long time ago, I'm afraid, but thank you so much for the super chat. Horizon Forbidden West. It did what everyone really was expecting it would, which was blow our socks off. Guerrilla Games have really seemed to have found their footing with this game. Having struggled with the Killzone titles, but mixed quality, I think Killzone 2 is probably the best one definitely the best one they've, at least critically, that they've released. But since Horizon Zero Dawn, they have crafted a new IP that has really bolstered Sony's already incredible first-party outfit. Asa, you were a big fan of. I never finished Zero Dawn. Just kind of dragged for me a little bit, but it was a great game. But you really liked Zero Dawn. What was your impression of Forbidden West when you first saw it?
I liked the look of the game more than I liked the state of play trailer for it. So it looks nice, but the way they presented the gameplay, I get why they need to do it, but it was so scripted, and they made Aloy so annoying. It's an open world game.
Yes.
How tight are you going to play it, and why is she telling you exactly where to go? I hope that she does shut up a little bit for the game. Besides that, though, let me just skip past guy talking on the trailer. There we go. It looks quite remarkable. There's a few visual defects I hope they clear up before launch, but it looks really good. I was looking out for the way the sand's deforming and things like that, because that's what you want to see from a next-gen version. And it's nice. It looks good. There's nothing to complain about there. And like you say, I really enjoyed the first game. So I went into the first game expecting really not to like it, because the concept of robot dinosaurs just seemed like a childish, like, what you doing, grow up. That's lame. Yeah. And then they actually explained it away really well within the story, and I thoroughly enjoyed the game, and I'm looking forward to the next one. So, trailer, state of play, I should say, rather than trailer. I don't think it showed it in its best light, but other people seem happy, and I expect the game to be great. So, what more could they do?
What were you, when you said there were a couple of visual glitches or something that you didn't like? What were you talking about there?
She was on the screen just a second ago, actually. Like things like the hair. They've obviously put a lot of effort into her hair. If it's going to clip through the bow to the extent that it does, she needs to not carry that bow there. Like it's glaring. It's in your face.
It was really glaring.
Yeah. And that's not that's not a technical limitation or anything. It's a design choice. They need to go, hang on, this doesn't quite look right. She's going to carry the bow on her hip or something. I don't know. Just something to stop an obvious issue.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I noticed that. That was a little bit. It takes it away. It takes it away. It's like, okay. And it's a weird design choice. But in terms of hair, like you could see the hair coming from her skin. You know, like that.
Put loads of effort into the hair. In terms of like number of strands and the way that it moves, which is why it's so obvious that the weapons need to not be in the way.
Yeah.
It makes it even more glaring, those kind of things, isn't it?
Yeah. Ashley says Ayla is looking a little bit more. She's gained weight, is what he's trying to say. And Tony, but I think I like her new character model. Like her more rounded than the last one. She looked a little bit stiff in that one. Tony, look. What did you think about this game? Because you know what, me and Colt, shout out to Colt. I don't know where he is. But we were watching this together, and we were like, God, it's just amazing. Was your reaction the same? Like, damn.
It's funny. So I didn't watch it when it was going live because this past week was crazy for me. But like I managed to watch it with my stream because it was on a Thursday. So I was like, you know what, I'll save that for my stream and I'll watch it with them after it's already out. So you can see my reaction there, plug into Twitch. But and I was kind of just like, yeah, this is good. Yeah. And it's funny because something I said on that stream, this might trigger a whole other spiel, but I was like, this is as good as I was expecting it to look. This is as good as I was expecting, kind of a thing. Yeah. And it's kind of why I think there's so many people that are so into, we'll get to this later, but like talking about like Xbox because they're like, they need to prove themselves. But PlayStation, they're just like, their games always look good to me. Yeah. So it's like, I didn't go in with low expectations, they were blown away, and go with the high expectations, get disappointed. Just like, yeah, this is exactly what I thought it would look like and be like and stuff. So yeah, it didn't blow me away, and it's also because I didn't play the first game, but it is like at the top of the games I want to get at whenever the heck I
get it. You gotta do it, man.
And the whole like robot dinosaur concept, I love that shit, dude. I think like I am so aboard that concept. I'm like, they're so tribal, but yet they're dealing with high tech conflicts. Like I love that.
Yeah,
like,
that's a big weird juxtaposition, this contrast.
Yeah, it's just like it's such like a weird concept, and that's kind of why I love it. And they act so tribal with this technology and stuff. So overall, like it looks visually stunning. I looked at a comparison video this morning that things definitely did improve. The hair does look better. What I did notice is, and the gameplay looks fun too. I like how Asa, I'm so glad you mentioned the sand, because when those two beams specifically they leave trails. If you look, they leave really nice trails, and I love detail like that. And I'm curious if more stuff can be destroyed, and I like the Breath of the Wild glider, and I kind of have a fun question to propose to you guys if there's time about that. But
go for it. I know where you're going with this.
Where do you think I'm going with this?
You're thinking about Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild stuff and how it went, because there was controversy when Horizon Zero Dawn came out. A lot of people were pitting that with Zelda, and it's kind of ironic to me that now this is kind of taking, not that Zelda has a right on gliders or
trademark
or created that, but come on, it's like you're inspired by it, irrespective.
I mean, sure.
Is that what you led into?
It wasn't, but a lot of games are picking up from that glider. Instead of asking the question, I'm going to ask first: is there a Nintendo topic today? Because I didn't see the docket.
I didn't send it out because there's definitely a Nintendo docket.
Okay, then I'm going to save my question because I think I know what it is. But, it'll be good for that time then. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm starting to get it.
The game looks really cool, and but I do agree with Asa. I think it did feel a little bit too scripted.
The scripted point is really good point, because it's just like, and the talking to herself, a lot of people have said it's just got really annoying, and it's like, I hope that's not in the game. And there's quite interesting takes in the chat. One bad mother says Horizon looks incredible visually, but the best part of the trailers were the gameplay additions with the grapple hook and parachute. He still doesn't think the combat looks satisfying. Some people are saying that I can see, because the bow, but I could feel the bow and the haptic tree. That could be really good.
Yeah, that could potentially be really cool.
Yeah, it could be. It would
it's like having a real bow this big.
Yeah,
tiny little
Just like real life.
What's your So I was watching this, like I said, I watched it with me and Cole, and we were like, you've said it, and you've just said it, I've heard you say it's impressive, but when I watched that, I was like, when is Xbox going to have a title that looks that good? Because even though it looks good, and I agree with Tony, you said it looks as good as you'd expect it to, and better because Guerrilla Games, Sony, you associate that with them. It's still a cross-gen title, and it's still doing things other cross-gen titles like, I don't know, Halo Infinite aren't doing, which is wowing us visually. What is your take on Horizon? I assume you played the Horizon Zero Dawn, right?
You're talking to me.
I'm talking to you, Saif.
You're talking to me. Well, look, I'm with Asa. I'm with you guys on this. I was a big fan of the first game. Really enjoyed it. Looking forward to this one. It does look really good. I do have a couple of gripes, which is, the clipping of the hair through the bow and arrow and stuff like that. But everything else looks really cool. I love the gameplay in the first one, and the new stuff, the grapple hook and the Zelda glider thing is really cool. And like Asa, I was looking out for little interesting visual elements that scream next gen to me. My take on it is it looks good. I wasn't blown away. It looks like what I expect this generation now to do. But I wasn't wowed, and it kept the back of my mind the fact that it's a cross-gen game, and that bothers me. And nothing against like people who haven't been able to get a PS5 or whatever, but I would really like PS5 games now. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like maybe it's held back or something like that. I mean, but it looks like how games should be now, which is good. It's fun. It's satisfying. And looking forward to how it controls with the haptic feedback and everything else. And like Hibji was saying as well, the visual style and the kind of genre that it takes is something I personally find really, really interesting. I love this guy. It's like post-apocalyptic. You know what I mean? It's like humanity has regressed, but now they're building back up again. So they're kind of tribal, but it has remnants of technology. And look, cyborg dinosaurs are cool as shit.
Yeah, I'm glad.
I don't care how old you are. That is, when I was a kid, I used to get my toy dinosaurs and then just pretend they're Transformers.
When you were a kid.
When I was a kid.
Every kid.
You assume that I grew up.
Kids when we're adults. That's what
I'm a real kid.
Wait, Asa, see, this is why you don't like Nintendo. This is why you don't like Nintendo.
Do you know? Okay, I'm going to touch on that. That though, Tony, is absolutely spot on. So I don't dislike Nintendo, but Nintendo, like, they have their heritage as a company that made toys, and they've played it into their brand and image forever. Yeah. And that is why I've been less interested in them. I didn't really want toys. I wanted games.
Yeah.
And I see the value in it. I understand why people love Nintendo games, but
you just
dumb.
What a terrible childhood you had.
What trauma did you suffer? I mean, come on.
No, he had his childhood and he's moving on from it. That's what he's saying.
Moving on.
Asa looks like the kind of guy who moved on from his childhood at age 2, bro. And he's the way that he is now. He just evolved much faster than all of us.
I started shaving at 5.
Yeah.
Can I drop one more note about like the visual thing of Horizon? Is that, and I said this when I was reacting to it too, I was like, the other reason it didn't really impress or de-impress me, whatever, I feel like, except for maybe like Sagboy or I said Sag instead of
Sagboy.
Sagboy. But like all of the PlayStation first party IPs that are made by their studios that are like humans and realistic graphics and stuff. And I'm asking you guys this and the chat, do they all seem like they run off of the same engine and the same art style, the same direction?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I noticed that, and they all just seem like it's the same engine or style.
They're just interchangeable. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah,
kind of generic. Kind of generic.
Ubisoft is the same thing. Like all their games, you can tell they're using the same engine or something.
Yeah,
I feel like that's how PlayStation's are too. It looks great. That's not me downplaying it. I'm just saying, I noticed that.
That's a very good point, because I sat there, watched it, I was like, something's off. They always look like this. Is it like the plasticine? It's not plasticine. It's people look, in some angles it looked really good, and I'm like, oh, maybe it's just me. But I'm glad you thought that as well. Shout out to Cole in the chat. He goes, sorry I'm late. I was out looking for Xbox to have games. Oh, Colt, me and Colt have been.
Sackboy with a dad bod. I like that comment. That's good.
Remember, we're going with Sagboy, not
Sackboy from now on. That's it. Trademark, copyright protected. Done.
Nick Pope says it looks good, but personally, he thinks Hive Busters looks better. What do you think about that, sir?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Hive Busters looks great. But Hive Busters looks very much like a previous gen Xbox game. So when you look at stuff like that, deforming sand and the waves that when the Hive Busters is a Gears 5 expansion, and it looks really, really nice. And,
I was about to Google it, but I gave up.
You don't need to. Yeah, no, the Coalition do like a really great job in terms of the color palette that they use in the environments, and it looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
But Horizon's an open world game that's doing more. So.
Oh yeah. Sorry, Nick Pope.
Why are people talking about Hive Busters when that came out in December?
It's because people are looking at comparatives, and there's a lot of like green, lush trees and that kind of fauna, and then there's a comparison.
It's not even just that. It's just the fact that it's held up as the best looking Xbox game.
Yeah, and that.
I would agree. First part, yeah. I just been hearing that come up the past like week or two. I'm like, why are people talking about Hive Busters now when it's been out for like over 3 months?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're gonna get that until Xbox actually has some games, right, Cole? Or good-looking games. Raider Blade, £5 super chat. Thank you so much, man. He says, I liked Horizon Zero Dawn 2's reveal, but I put it into context. I saw the Series X Epic demo, and all I can say is I want to see better visuals as Unreal Engine 5 looks incredible. It does look incredible. It almost looks too good to be true. Asa, do you think that game... Will we see that? Tony, what were you going to say?
I wasn't going to say. I was just going to say that's another thing that happened this week. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if that's a separate topic. I haven't seen, but yeah, Asa, I don't think it is. But like Unreal Engine 5 looks crazy. I watched the whole video and how the tech and stuff. But will the games look? Do you think the games will look like that?
I saw a reference that the 10-minute demo that they put out is about 100 gig. So no, probably not.
Wow.
Realistically, when we start seeing the first games that are using it, it looks like it's going to offer a massive step up from where we are. But the level of detail in that demo is, this is a demo, we can do this. Not, this is a game that's going to be delivered to your SSD. So I'm looking forward to seeing the first games on it, but they seem sadly far away.
Yeah, and they always do this. I've seen Unreal Engine 4's tech demo. It looks really good. I'm like, I haven't seen a game do that. I think it was Lava, that one. I don't know which one it was, that little tech demo, but it's like, they kind of pushed the limit. So yeah, okay, keep your expectation in checks, guys. But
no, don't be really excited. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying anybody should keep their expectations in check. It's going to be fantastic when it comes out.
Hang on, you can't say that. You hate Nintendo.
Yeah, you hate Nintendo, which leads me
to
the
don't have no excitement. I like that joke.
I can be a cynical old man as much as I want because I don't like Nintendo. That's where it comes from.
Yeah. Well, Z Black Rider, thanks so much for the $5 Canadian. He says, I'm 54. Shout out to Z Black Rider, and Donkey Kong is my last Nintendo. What does that mean?
My last Nintendo?
Maybe he means he had the arcade cabinet at home. Must be a collector, sir.
Z Black, we need to finish that sentence, maybe, or maybe it is his last Nintendo. We just don't get it. Rated Black, thank you so much for the other super chat, because it's called the Decima engine. That's why we won't see Unreal Engine 5 running too much on the PS5.
The Decima engine is what the first-party PlayStation games is that what he's referring to?
Yeah, like Death Stranding and
was that Decima engine?
It's a great engine, by the way. Again, that point earlier was not like a downplay. I something I kind of noticed. And Colt was saying earlier that Ubisoft and Sony use different engines, but so maybe it's a style thing. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe it's
so touching back on that. So the Decima engine is Guerrilla's engine. So it's Horizon, the new Horizon, I would assume, and Death Stranding. So they licensed the engine out for Death Stranding to Kojima's studio. And it is a very good engine, and it is very tailored to the PlayStation 4. So part of it, lots and lots of games having this look on the PlayStation 4, they all have a lot of vegetation. And the PlayStation 4 wasn't particularly good at drawing textures. It was very good at these like mesh fauna that covered up the lack of textures. So if you played the first Horizon Zero Dawn on the PlayStation 4, you could see about like 10 yards in front of your character, you could see the textures drawing in, but only where the ground was bare. Most of the time they very cleverly used vegetation to cover it up. And this is the same kind of thing I was getting to when I talk about Aloy's hair, is you've got technical limitations, make creative decisions to work around them. and then we don't need to see them. So.
I didn't know that about the PlayStation 4 and that stuff.
Very interesting.
That's really cool. I think I remember seeing that. It's quite interesting with Horizon Zero Dawn that first game. What really was jarring to me was that the water didn't have any splash effect, so you jump into the water and there wouldn't be anything. And now you've got the sand popping in, and that's really cool.
They really vamped the water up in this one.
I know the water looks mad.
Oh, it looks incredible, especially underwater. It looks,
Wow.
Sorry, there's something in the chat I want to hit here because I'm seeing like Colt and Tony and some folks say like the State of Play was this last Thursday, and that's their kind of summer event or whatever. No, that was for Horizon specifically.
Yeah.
I hope they have something like they have had this habit of the last Thursday of every month having something, and so maybe the last Thursday of next month that'll be their showcase. But the Horizon thing wasn't their show. No,
I don't think so. I think Sony are always quite. You have to Sony dropped that before bloody Xbox's event. They know what they're doing, and they're going to do something maybe even closer, maybe after. I don't count Sony
probably
out.
After.
Yeah, probably after, right? Yeah. So I mean, but I want to touch upon. We have to Horizon looks great, and if you've got E3 coming up, then you've got bloody Ratchet and Clank. That's only a couple of days out before the Xbox has its E3. You've got all these good-looking games. I think the excuses, if you're an Xbox fan, as far as good visuals are concerned, are running out because you've got Horizon as a cross-gen game, and it looks better than anything I've seen on Series X. You've got pure, next-gen games like Ratchet coming out, and that's for PS5 only time. That looks stellar. You have to really, really kind of stretch and say that doesn't look good. I mean, Ratchet and Clank looks phenomenal. Safe, I just want to get your opinion on this. Xbox is the most powerful next-gen console on paper, and it's got all these studios, yet it seems to struggle to produce any visually heavyweight titles. Do you think that's going to continue? Do you think PlayStation will have the better-looking exclusives throughout this gen? Or will that change?
No, I think this is sort of married to the idea that Xbox hasn't actually got any major releases exclusively to it yet. But when they do start coming in, I think people will start to tap into it properly. Maybe it's a developer thing. Maybe they haven't had time. I don't know how it works for them. But we haven't seen the best of what Xbox has to offer in terms of their own power yet. It's coming, though. There will be some Xbox games which I'm sure will look absolutely phenomenal because the Series X does, from what I understand, maybe Ace is more of an expert, of course, but it does things differently, slightly better in some ways than the PS5. PS5 struggles in some aspects. In fact, actually, I was reading up recently on the from Digital Foundry. I was trying to decide what console to get Mass Effect Legendary Edition on. So I was reading the comparisons between all the console versions. I don't have a Series X. I've got Xbox One X. And for me, Mass Effect feels at home on Xbox. I was going to get it for that. But they were comparing the PS5 and Series X versions. And apparently, on performance mode, you get a really phenomenal experience on the Xbox Series X. But PS5, it's locked to 4K, I think 60 frames. And that's fine. That's perfect, absolutely playable, absolutely fine. But things like that, Xbox does a bit better, from what I understand. So it remains to be seen what they're going to bring out next. But when the exclusives come, I think they will really, really push for that stuff. But at the moment, the PlayStation exclusives are winning on that kind of field.
Well, it's because we've actually seen them. That's the problem. We've seen gameplay, and that's just Tony. I just want to get to you on this. We have now seen so much gameplay for the off games, next gen games that look impressive. That what you expect from a next gen console on PlayStation 5, the weaker console on paper. But one, it's kind of embarrassing that Xbox actually hasn't had a proper exclusive even since the launch of the console, or even I can't think of an example where a console launched as bare as far as that is concerned. But what do you think? Do you think we'll see something at E3 that might change that? Because a lot of people are holding out for E3. A lot of people are getting hyped to it, like they did last year. Do you think we'll see something to that effect?
God, I hope so. That's a summary.
We all do.
I will somewhat say like there were some things like the what's it called, Falconeer or whatever. That was a great showcase for super high frame rate. That was exclusive to Xbox. And then Call of the Sea, that was another one that was like pretty visually stunning as well. That was timed exclusive launch to Xbox, and they had some things, but the point here is that there's nothing that like big AAA first party release that they have had on that system yet. They've had a couple double A's, and I think also, by the way, yes, Gaz, I agree, Ascent looks pretty cool. And it is funny when I go to Age of there's this game, Second Extinction, the dinosaur shooting game. Yeah, runs so much better on my Series X than I looked at my friend's I forgot what system he was playing on, but it looked just not as good. But E3, if there is one thing that they need to do there, I agree. And I think this is about like they need to show gameplay of this is something that you could expect from like our mainline people.
Yeah, man.
Big budget, and it's because that's what PlayStation's been doing. They started off with, you know, Miles Morales and Sackboy. Honestly, it seems like a cool game and everything. And Sackboy, yeah, Returnal like is a Sackboy. Returnal seems super impressive with what it's doing, and you know, Ratchet and Clank, like you said, is about to happen. Horizon, you just see, instead of seeing a cinematic or being told it, you see how good these games look.
Yeah, that's the point. You see them.
Yeah, that's what Xbox really needs to nail, because it's been a problem there's past couple years where they have these cinematics and the reveals and stuff, but they don't, or just kind of like sizzles, but they don't just focus on here's straight up gameplay. And the one time they did was last year, and people grilled them for Halo Infinite. I'm really hoping they do so, but when the time comes, I'm gonna tell you what, I agree with a couple people earlier. Microsoft Flight Simulator is effing stunning.
Yeah, my God, man.
And when they show Hellblade 2, I am expecting that to be the most visually stunning game I have ever seen in my life.
Wow.
And and Horizon, like if they show the we just talked about Horizon, but I'm talking about Forza Horizon. Whenever that shows up, that'll probably be stunning too.
Yeah.
But they do need those third person or first person super nice looking stuff that I really don't think Halo Infinite will be that showcase. But from that point onwards, I hope, yes, they definitely need to show more games that can compete with this kind of thing that PlayStation's been doing.
They need to have a presence now in E3. They need to, they need to actually give us something to look forward to, instead of like a disappointing, poorly rendered Guerrilla from Halo.
No cinematic.
And no cinematic. Give us some gameplay. Give us something solid. I missed the days of E3 when they revealed Halo 2 gameplay. That was a really exciting time to be alive. Do you remember the audience reaction to that? They need to do something. They need to blow us away like that.
That's the problem. People are saying, no, the show doesn't need to be okay. They need to show this. So, and Raiden Black says, Gaz, one word, onslaught. When series games start, we won't be asking these questions. The question is when, though, Raiden, man? It's been a while.
When is it going to happen, man? Huh? Tell us, huh?
Yeah, exactly. Tell us when it's going to happen. And exactly, like, we've been waiting for a while. Last year, by the way, and if I have to cast your mind back, and I remember Colt actually in Twitter, and I had agreed with him, and this was before me and Colt really knew each other. He was saying to Microsoft, and Microsoft didn't do this. It was just don't hold back stuff. This is pre-launch of the console. Just go. Just show us everything. They didn't do that, and let's wait for E3. It has become a meme, guys. Let's be honest. It's become a meme. The Sony guys really like to throw that in your face, because ultimately they're right, because we've been waiting for E3, for that big E3, for that something to rival remember that Sony E3 with Shenmue, with Last Guardian, with Final Fantasy VII Remake, even though 2 out of the 3 didn't make that ways as good as they, but that was a moment, megaton moment. Xbox had the closest thing was the 2018. Awful, yeah.
That E3 was terrible. Sony came up with these 3 games that got like dubbed the Holy Trinity, and none of them came out for about 5 years. So I don't want Microsoft to do that.
Yeah,
it's interesting. Like you're talking like Microsoft held back gameplay at the launch of the Xbox Series X or the last E3, and with the benefit of hindsight, we know that's not true. They just didn't have gameplay to show, because you can look at the games that came out,
they weren't
don't
ready.
exist, so they're not ready. And the option that they took last year was, hang on a minute, there's a pandemic, we're struggling to get things ready. Let's outsource some cinematic trailers and let somebody else deal with the pandemic, somebody that's good at doing cinematics. And that's what we got, and it was a stopgap, and everyone knows that it was a stopgap. And this year needs to be different. I know they've still been struggling, and I know that the pandemic hasn't finished for them, and they're still working from home and all the rest of it, but they can't outsource it to some cinematic people with a few assets and say, make it look like this concept that we've drawn up. They need to show gameplay. And I'm sure they're going to have at least a few things. There's a few studios that have been very quiet that I'm sure are going to be ready to blow our socks off.
They've got a whole bunch of second-party developers that just show your stuff, man. Come on, stop being shy and teasing us, bro. Come on, Bethesda. I know you got something hiding from me. Come on, baby.
Well, yeah. So I'm hearing rumors in the background, and I can't say who, but there's this conjecture, and treat that as conjecture. But I'm hearing of a pretty conservative E3 happening this year for Xbox, and that to me is just not acceptable. But I'll give it benefit of the doubt. It's all hearsay. But Tony, you're a big Halo fan. Sorry, well, all of us are Halo fans. And is it unfair for us to pin our hopes? Wow, that's a.
I bought this recently. Dark Horse comic. Yeah.
Oh,
that looks amazing.
Really?
Actually, that looks well good. Can you hold it closer to the camera?
It's super good. It's $60. Yeah. And
it's
that
looks
Infinite
nice,
model too.
man.
So this is
yeah.
the model. Yeah.
It's got a little jetpack thing.
Yeah,
Nice.
that is.
Yes, I am.
The graphics of that are better than in the game.
True.
So, like, if Halo's, and I'm also hearing rumblings there may be a conservative upgrade on Halo's visuals. Maybe, I don't know. This is all hearsay because people don't think there's much hope for Halo Infinite's visuals to be enhanced. I'm actually in that camp. How much can you do to improve the visuals of Halo? But if I doubt people will say Halo is going to be the game that blows our socks off. Do you expect to see Hellblade, Tony, at E3?
Damn.
So this was kind of a question I was kind of posing as you were talking about if they would be conservative, but it depends because I feel like this show could go two different ways. And this is another one of those things where I'm like curious what you guys think, what the chat thinks, but
yeah,
I would love to see Hellblade 2.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll happen, especially if it is a conservative show. Because I wonder if and I see pros to this, if it's a show that they want to primarily, and Nintendo does this crap and it works for them, but if they focus on showing stuff that is coming out within the next year, instead of talking about things that are still ways off. Yeah. And somebody brought that up of like, I heard this on a show. It might have been your guys, actually. I'm not sure. But just like, actually, it might have been here. I feel like it might have been you, Is it the whole like, I don't want to see an E3 game brought up here and then it being brought up next year? Was that you?
That was
yeah. So, and I agree. And I would agree. I don't want to see something just show up at E3 like every year for 3 years. And so if they go that strat, imagine like they just like, this is all stuff you could expect to be on all of our platforms within the next year. And if I see Hellblade 2 with that expectation to be like,
Man, it's 2019. They showed it off, man.
But it's
possible.
It's time.
It's possible. But they just got their hands on the Unreal 5 engine, so I hope
Starfield?
that Hellblade 2.
Starfield
and Halo Infinite will be
I
the
really hope
100%.
Starfield, they have to have something.
Correction, not highlights, their main things.
Their main
that are
one,
coming.
exactly. I think so. I think so.
Well, they have that Bethesda. They have the show, and Aaron has said that. And I forgot the quote now, but he said that you'll see what the studio, basically what's happening, what's in store for the future comprehensively, what they plan to do with Bethesda. Safe, Starfield. What is it? You're hyped about that game, right? You're really hyped, yeah? But why? You haven't even seen what the game looks like. Or
I have no idea. I just have faith, man. Just faith. Just praise it loud. Just hope this game gonna be straight down from heaven. You know, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be amazing. No, listen, I'm really excited. Bethesda is one of my favorite developers, favorite publishers, and I have no reason to be excited because there's nothing. They haven't shown us anything really. But I have a lot of faith in them. That's the thing, because they very rarely disappoint. Bethesda, I'm looking forward to whatever they've got. So Starfield, I love sci-fi. I love Bethesda. Put together, you got something nice, yeah. So show me, let's go for it. Let's do it.
Yeah,
but actually, I'm more excited about Elder Scrolls, but I'm not expecting to see much of that for a while. But Elder Scrolls is like the main thing. But Starfield, let's do it.
Yeah, Starfield, like in space, yeah.
To give you confidence, Seth, like he's like, oh, I didn't do it. Just keep in mind, this is a Todd Howard game, and the last 2 games he did were nominated for Game of the Year. So
exactly, yes.
I'm
more excited, man.
Dude, I really do hope that it has a different identity, though. That's the #1 thing. Like,
I agree.
I'm not much of a Elder Scrolls Fallout person. By the way, since our time apart, I've been finally playing the Mass Effect series, and if that's done anything to me, not in the Legendary Edition, by the way. So I started back in January. But anyways, if those games have taught me anything, I'm not too much of an RPG guy. So I've learned that. But so that's why I'm not too into Elder Scrolls and Fallout. But those games have their own identity to them, One's fantasy, one's sort of apocalyptic sci-fi. I really hope Starfield doesn't feel like a Fallout in space or something like that.
Yeah,
I
that's my
really
biggest
want it to
fear.
feel like its own.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. I think it's going to have a unique identity of its own, because they normally, I feel like Starfield is going to be another one of their big IPs that they're going to have. So I think it's going to have a unique
First
thing.
one in so many years.
Yep. Yeah. It's been a long time, so I think it's worth it. It's going to be original. It's going to be good. You just reminded me of something, kind of going back to a little bit to what we were talking about with the graphics engine, like Forbidden West and stuff. Do you think that Bethesda uses the same graphics engine on many of their games? Because like Dishonored and what's that time loop game that recently came out? Deathloop, yeah. They all look the same to me as well. They got a kind of, it reminds me of Time Splitters, but like with much more advanced graphics. But I think they use the same kind of art style. So I'm hoping that Starfield looks a little bit visually more unique, perhaps. I don't want to see the same kind of Fallout and Elder Scrolls mounts moving.
There are some leaks footage, and it does kind of look like it may be built on the back of that. Asa, what do you expect?
Not a bad thing, but
it's not. But I want something different. What would you like from Starfield? And also at this point, because you're the tech guy, like graphically, do you expect they'll use a new engine? Do you know anything about that?
We know. Yeah, they've said that they're using a new engine for Starfield and for the Elder Scrolls. So when Microsoft bought ZeniMax, they got a bunch of engines. They got id Tech. They got this new engine that Bethesda are using for Elder Scrolls 6 and for Starfield. And they got ZeniMax are doing an online and MMORPG on a new engine as well. Plus whatever, I don't actually know what Arcane used for Dishonored and for Deathloop, but whatever's there is probably good too. So Xbox got a bunch of technology along with that. In terms of Starfield and what it's going to look like at E3, it's really interesting because traditionally Fallout 4 and the Elder Scrolls were award-winning fantastic games, but they never competed on cinematic visuals. They never had that flair that the kind of Sony games has. So people never looked at Fallout 4 and said, this looks incredible. And actually, if you look at the technology in it and you actually break it down and look at what the games were doing, it was doing some incredible things, but it didn't have that flair. And I don't know why. It's quite hard to put your finger on it. It had good textures, it had good lighting, but it wasn't cinematic. I don't know if Starfield is going to be the one that kind of bucks that trend and looks more like a Sony game. That's not to say that games have to look like Sony games, but the expectation is that it's going to look like Horizon. It's going to be... It's not necessarily. Probably going to be a phenomenal game, but what it looks like, I don't know. I haven't seen it yet. So.
Yeah, I agree with you there, Issa, because a lot of people are holding out hope for that this is going to be, and as people have said this in the chat, that there's going to be the visual blockbuster. But I don't associate that with Bethesda, but maybe in the future now with under Microsoft's umbrella, it has more of a chance of doing that. Whatever it is that's holding it back.
I do want to, and I pretty much agree with all. So I'm also going to shout out Raiden Blade here, who did a super chat earlier. Thank you very much. But he said, "Remember Avowed? I hope."
Yeah.
But keep in mind that was another cinematic. So
man. But the scope of it sounds like another bloody Elder
could be
Scrolls.
awesome.
Yeah,
man. Until I see that. Like, here's 5 minutes in game, no cuts or anything, just straight footage. Like, thank you.
That'd be amazing. That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
I think Starfield has a chance to be visually different though, I'll tell you why. I think it's because it goes with the genre. When you have sci-fi, there is kind of an impetus to make the visuals distinctive, more so than normal. Because Elder Scrolls is a medieval fantasy, so it looks like a medieval fantasy. You know what I mean? So it's going to have that kind of grimy kind of look, but it's part of the art style. What else were there? The Dishonored is kind of like steampunk, Victorian.
So it looks dusty.
Fallout, post-apocalyptic. Everything is brown and metal in Fallout, pretty much. You know, with the odd color splash here and there. But Starfield, you're gonna have. I assume you're gonna have planets and nebula and falafel. And, you know all this stuff. So you never know. So it might be the one to sort of break that mold and become the visually interesting Bethesda IP. I think so. Anyway, let's hope.
And I think I don't know. I'm not the technical guy. Correct me if I'm wrong here. But I think there's less of a load technically on things like that on games where you have big planetary skyboxes and like small. You know, I don't think it's drawing. It depends on what the game is. But they may have more overhead to develop something that looks stunning with big skyboxes. They look amazing and not doing much drawing on them. I don't know. This is very premature. We haven't seen the game, but I think you're right there. Very good point there, Safe, that we could see something very different just based on the premise of the game. So I think that'd be real. Can't wait to see that, man. It's 2 weeks away, and I'm pretty sure that's coming. It's coming because they showed the little promo. Some people have figured out the planet at the bottom is the Starfield planet.
That art is so gorgeous. That art is so gorgeous. And you know that art confirms it, Gaz.
Yeah, it does. It does.
We're gonna see that multiplayer, baby.
Oh,
they had that art confirms Halo Infinite multiplayer's there, so that'll be a thing.
So this is the thing. And before I go into super chats, guys, and I see you call in the chat. I just go back on Halo. Halo needs to show that single player because that's where the visual test is gonna be. So if they don't show the single player, it's gonna be a bit of an issue. No, Tony? Or can they just show the multiplayer and we'll be impressed and not show the single player? To me, that would be a bit of a cop-out.
They have to show the single player. But the annoying part, I think, is that people are going to be seeing it with so much expectations. Like, oh, this better be leagues better than was before. And I just don't think it's going to be because...
No, I don't think so.
This whole conversation we've had just... Visuals are amazing. It's definitely what grabs the general audience. Like, wow, this visually looks stunning. And then they'll look at the gameplay or whatever. But to me, like, gameplay is always first. And Halo's definitely not going to be that thing to show what the Series X and systems can do.
Yeah.
But,
which is a shame.
I hope it is noticeably better. And if it's at least that, then I'll be happy. Especially if it has ray tracing in. Because... the one we saw before didn't have ray tracing on, and with this delay, I hope ray tracing is on. It's supposed to have it, but they said it was going to be post-launch originally. But since they delayed it for a year, hopefully that means we'll see it with it on. So that alone will make a good difference.
There's been a remarkable silence on that. Yeah, go on, Asa. We can say.
I'm just going to stand against everyone on Halo and say that I think it is going to look phenomenal when they reveal it again. I said the first time around.
So happy.
Yeah, the first time around when they showed it and people were unhappy, I said back then that the differences that will completely change people's minds are subtle things. And I don't see why they can't achieve that. I think, and when they started breaking down what they were going to change, you could see that they understood exactly what was wrong and they were targeting exactly the right thing. So I think when they reveal it again, you're never going to please everyone. There's a narrative that's already built against it and some people are going to say negative things, but I think it's going to look really nice.
You think those things that they picked up because are the things that those little things that
I've lost gas.
gameplay for?
Gas, you froze. You froze, Gas.
Yeah, you guys froze for me. Sorry. I was going to say those little things that you mentioned, Asa, were the things that do you think those are the things that would make a big difference, or the things that you initially identified?
The first blog that they did afterwards, I was genuinely impressed by how specific they addressed everything that I didn't like in it. And that's to say that I was one that was nitpicking it. I wasn't, but there were things that you could identify in there in the color palette and the lighting and things like that. And they were so on point with how they said they were going to address them. I just think it's going to look great, I think. But
fair enough.
I hope so. And I really believe it should look good because that's what a flagship title, especially
it's a flagship title, exactly. It needs to be a system seller. I haven't got a Series X. This is the game I've been waiting for, essentially, to be honest with you. So
On the box.
Halo is, there you go. it's synonymous with Xbox. So let's do it. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you're right, Asa, because it deserves to look good. That's the thing. It should.
But to kind of go with that original question though, guys, yes, I think the campaign showing, I don't know if they'll have it as like just straight gameplay as they did before. It could be shorter, it could be more, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm curious. I really hope it's like I don't know, 5 minutes campaign and then like maybe a sizzle reel multiplayer trailer. They're not gonna like show a match of multiplayer happen. And then what would be really neat to close it out is to have like an overall overview trailer to hype people up. Like there was the campaign, there's the multiplayer, the beta's gonna happen right now. And by the way, here's the release date, and like they have the release date at the end of this sizzle after they showed everything, and be like, yeah.
There you go, nailed it. Yeah, and that's a good formula. That's a good formula.
Yeah.
3 for 3 if you're listening, do that. Change your plans if you have other plans. That'd be really good. That'd be really good. Raiden, thank you so much for the £5 super chat. He goes, it's 90 minutes. It's a 90-minute show, but how many shows can they have between E3 and Christmas? Good question. They tend to do Gamescom, although Gamescom's a digital-only event like most events this year, and Sony don't do that. And sometimes, typically, historically, they have shown stuff. Scalebound. But at Gamescom and other events, who knows? This year's a bit wacky, Raiden. But I'm not waiting for another show after E3. Well, I will end up waiting it because it's called Stockholm Syndrome, because you always do it every year. It's just bullshit. It sucks. And then you go back to hoping. Because at this stage, at least it's there on paper. Everything is there for Xbox. These games are mad. Like Raiden says, remember Avowed. Avowed's huge. Then you got Perfect Dark. But just the name.
I forgot about that. Shit.
Perfect Dark,
oh
man.
My God.
Yeah. Cole Eastwood, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Because historically, Xbox shows far more games than PlayStation and shows more games that come out in the E3 calendar year than PlayStation.
I think he's right about that.
He's right. And I think that's exactly what Asa, you were saying, needs to happen, no? Because they've set a good long-term timeline with all these games.
It is something, like Cole says, historically, Xbox have been better in that sense. So the example that you gave earlier of that Holy Trinity E3, where Sony came out with these 3 games, Shenmue, Final Fantasy, and Last Guardian, and they were distant horizon, and people loved it. Microsoft have always, before this whole the whole cycle got disrupted, Microsoft always used it to kind of build up hype for the holiday season. So for them, it was more of a marketing event for the holiday season coming up that year. So typically, Colt's absolutely right. Typically, Microsoft have done more near-term games at E3. But everything got thrown out of whack. Last year was just like a mess for everybody. So hopefully they'll get back to it.
Yep.
Yeah, hopefully. So thank you so much, Raiden, man. You've been really generous today. Thank you so much.
Very generous, man. Very nice.
Yeah, honestly. Thank you so much. It helps us, literally helps us keep the lights on. Thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Because no, they don't. But what about idTech? I don't know what the no they don't's referring to, but idTech is a saucy engine. Speaking of sauce, someone wearing a sauce hoodie is here. Shout out to our store is live. If you want to buy sauce, our cameraman is here. Looking fly. Kate Takun is here.
What's going on, Kate? How you doing, man? You're right. Good to see you.
But yeah, idTech. Let's. You talk about game engines. You talk about Halo. Wouldn't idTech and Halo be a good marriage, Acer, technically? Or do you think there's shortcomings with that engine?
For me, no, there's definitely no shortcomings with idTech. It's a phenomenal engine. I think Phil Spencer's already alluded to the potential for using that engine with other studios. Nobody sweats pixels better, he was saying, wasn't he? So Halo... I mean, the slip space engine that they showed a few years back was looking really nice at the time. I don't necessarily think they need to move all of their games onto idTech just because Bethesda have come along. Bethesda actually typically weren't big fans of DirectX when they were making that engine. So idTech actually primarily ran on Vulkan on the PC releases, but it does work very nicely with DirectX 12 as well. So they've got, like I said earlier, they've got a bunch of engines with ZeniMax. They've got a bunch of engines, so we know that the Coalition are wizards with Unreal 5. We know that Turn 10 are absolutely phenomenal with the engines that they built, that they use for Forza and for Forza Horizon. which Forza Horizon and Forza are both absolutely incredible in terms of performance and visuals. And we know, or as far as we know, Fable is using that engine as well. So they've got a bounty of engines that they can use. There's no worries or concerns there.
Yeah, no, hopefully not. Come on, you Blues, says Yadani. Thank you so much for the $2 super chat. That's a football shout out there for the Brits who are watching.
Soccer, my American friends. Soccer. Okay.
Don't say soccer. You can't say soccer. The Americans can say soccer. Don't besmirch football.
I'm just trying to speak their language, man. You know, Sega Genesis.
And you see the Sonic guy playing there.
We also so this week has been pretty mad. We finally saw a gameplay for Far Cry 6. And generally, I thought it was really positive. It looks like Far Cry, but it looks really good. Tony, what are your thoughts on the gameplay? Gameplay and gameplay footage. What do you think about the trailer? Did you see it?
There's so much crap that happened this week, man.
I know,
that was another thing. That was another thing. But yeah, I actually just watched this morning because I was like, all right, I better make sure I watch all this stuff before I hop on the show. I don't care too much for the cutscenes personally. Like the cutscenes, again, it has that Ubisoft kind of look to it that I just personally don't care for. But the story seems fine, and I'm like, okay, cool, character's cool. But there was like a character story trailer, and then there was the gameplay trailer. You know what I'm talking about? It was the gameplay trailer was more of the first person stuff. That looked awesome, and I don't know. I think the game, speaking of visuals, I think that game looks visually really cool. And gameplay wise, freaking Dead Rising weapons up in here. There's like some kind of CD chainsaw thing or whatever. Yeah, the Macarena thing. And you can like manufacture things. So just like, okay, shoot the tubes on your. Like,
that's so clever.
Is this Dead Rising, dude? What?
Is it Dead Rising?
Yeah. Speaking of those franchises, bring back, but and do right. Yeah. But yeah, that I think Far Cry 6 looks pretty cool. I don't know if I'll be getting it, but it looks really cool. If I was a Far Cry fan, that shit looks really cool.
Yeah, I think again, me and Colt watched it together live, and me and Colt were like joined at the hip, but we were really impressed, and we really loved the zany elements of the game. Safe, did you manage to watch the trailer for Far Cry 6? Are you a Far Cry fan?
Hang on, I'm still watching it. Hang on, stay there. Stay with me. I didn't actually watch it. No, I just had a look at it now. I did see clips because I follow Ubisoft on Instagram and stuff, or someone. I can't remember who. But yeah, I've never really been a Far Cry fan because I just never got into the games that much. But they are graphically, they've always been really impressive for every generation they've come out on. Like I remember seeing Far Cry 2 for the first time and thinking it doesn't get better than this. Then Far Cry 3 came out. I was like, it gets a little bit better than this. But it looks incredible. Giancarlo Esposito, amazing actor. So the cast looks good. Yeah. Gameplay wise, I have a big problem with Far Cry games. I've only ever played Far Cry 4 or 5. I can't remember which one. I think it was 4 actually. Typical Ubisoft nonsense. I mentioned this before in our group, guys. It's you have a nice open world, lovely map, too many icons. Okay, I can't concentrate. There's too much going on. It's too much, it's like side missions here and there, and they're very generic side missions usually in Ubisoft games, like fetch quests and typical Assassin's Creed. It starts to get a bit stale. I haven't played the last Far Cry. I don't know if I'm going to play this one. It does look great. It looks fun as well. I'm just looking at the gameplay as well on the side, and it looks kind of nuts actually, which is good. Yeah. It's probably good. It's probably going to be fantastic. But again, Ubisoft maps and side quests, not for me. But whatever.
That formula is really annoying and
very old-fashioned formula now.
It is. No. I remember Far Cry 1 blew my socks off with the physics. I remember it so well.
Physics,
the water and the sea and the shooting the barrels and
Far Cry 2 with the flamethrowers, and it depends on the wind direction.
Yes, thank you.
That was crazy.
Please talk about Far Cry 2's flames. Yeah.
So that was incredible.
Fire was ahead of the game. That was ahead of the game.
Yeah, really innovative as well. Like the physics engine, really ahead of the time. At the time, it's incredible. So I don't know. Does this one look really ahead of its time as well, or does it look like how a current gen game is supposed to be? What do you reckon?
The latter, I think. I don't know what you think, Tony.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good. Kind of like the Horizon thing. I'm like, this looks like
it does the job. Yeah. It does what it says.
Exactly.
Yeah. Were you impressed, Asa? Did you think it was good?
visually it's fine, but like Safe said, the Ubisoft formula doesn't do it for me, and I don't want to be really negative towards them as a publisher because actually they're.
Why are they watching?
Of course, Safe. Everybody
Look,
is.
I'm a Ubisoft fan. Okay.
What have you got?
Don't
there?
get it twisted.
What are you holding there?
I show you, my friend. I'm not going to put it on. Hang on a second. Jesus. Yes.
That actually scared me.
And by the way, this really, really hurts when you get it in your face. So don't do that.
For audio listeners, he just had a knife pop out of nowhere.
Yeah, I have a hidden blade. I have my little friend.
I know.
My ancestors. My ancestor. Hang on. Stay tuned. Oopsie, I just dropped my thing. Stay there. Don't go anywhere. Asa, stay there. You think your room is cool? Check this shit out.
What is that?
I would say that's. Go ahead.
Go for it.
I would say that's more of an Assassin's Creed fan than a Ubisoft fan.
Yeah, exactly. Ubisoft sucks, but Assassin's Creed, man.
There you go.
You gotta see this, though. Hang on. Keep talking. I'll be with you in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, like
Altair is coded. Okay, stop talking. I'm back now. Look, Altair is coded. Look at it. It's so beautiful.
That is actually
It's
really
gorgeous.
cool.
This one I used to be big on collector's editions, but then I don't have £120 to spend on each game, so I had to stop that shit. After Elder Scrolls Skyrim, when I bought the Alduin edition.
Oh wow!
But I don't have that.
I don't know whether I have the room for that.
Oh Jesus!
And I can see Bun Bad Mother says like he's tired of the formula as well. But whilst I'm tired of the formula, I really can bear with it on Far Cry because the gameplay loop for me is really cool. The unhindered movement is really good, and I like the side quests don't annoy me too much because I enjoy the core gameplay, and it looks like a lot of fun, and it's co-op as well. So that's really good.
True.
Yes. So, but other than Far Cry, we also saw Dying Light 2 gameplay just came out of nowhere. What the hell's up Techland doing?
That one didn't even have a warning, did it? Like it just,
no, it didn't.
just came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But what are your thoughts on the gameplay? Because to me, it looked phenomenal, man. I just thought this looks sick. It's like it looked better than the first showing as well, and which was good. But any Dying Light fans in the chat? Just let me know. But Safe, have you played Dying Light?
I've never played Dying Light. I've played Dead Island, which I really enjoyed. Is that similar? It looks similar.
Yeah.
I'm showing my ignorance here. I don't know much about it, to be honest with you. I've heard that people like it, but I just never played it, so I don't know. Tell me, guys. You tell me. How is it?
It's just a really good game. It's a really.
I think I broke my Altair box. Hang on, I'll be with you in a minute.
As you fix your Altair box, the game is just and what they seem to have done is really ramped up the elements for the game. Before in the daytime, the zombies were kind of just there, and they weren't really a threat. But at the daytime, zombies look a little bit more menacing, and then the whole nighttime element of that's just gone crazy. But just the refinement in the gameplay, the visuals, and just ramping up the parkour elements of that.
It's the parkour one. Yeah, I remember.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm with you.
That was the Safe. That's what I would say is the unique identifier.
I remember the trailer for the first one, and then I'm thinking it looks like Dead Island with parkour. So
that's what a lot of people thought, and that's a fair comparison. Tony, are you excited? Did you play Dying Light 1?
So I haven't played Dying Light 1, but I watched my stepbrother play a great deal of it. He was like in love with it, and looked like a really cool game in terms of kind of like having a zombie game that isn't just necessarily about killing zombies, but kind of like navigating a landscape.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Like, yeah, there's a certain phrase for this, but like in terms of like a zombie exploration game, it seemed really cool. Gaz, you said you played the first one, right?
Yeah, I did.
Did you have as many like story decisions? Because they're really hammering on like how much you can influence like the map and the characters and who's your enemy. I'm like, could you do that in the first one?
I think you could have. I mean, it's been a while. I played it with my friend Ben, and he was just blitzing through because he had played it so much, and he started doing glitches and duplicating weapons and stuff. So my playthrough was a very weird playthrough because I was sitting with a veteran who was just basically cheating and giving me a toxic sword. Though it was so wacky. But the choice element after Cyberpunk, I've been burnt anyway, generally. So let me see if that translates realistically into a game. But I will say, if you haven't tried Dying Light before, the studio has put out so much free content. It's really like a second game almost sometimes for Steel. Techland are really, really generous with their content. And the game
they're as generous as Raiden Black, because this guy is really generous.
Raiden Blade. I don't know if they are. Raiden Blade. Thank you so much for the 10 pounds.
Maybe he is Techland.
Yeah, maybe he is.
Or he's CD Projekt Red. They're generous. Well, not anymore, but I mean, they used to be.
Well, yeah, they were in their post-launch content. Raiden, thank you so much for the 10 pounds super because I'm stealing a line from Mr. Boom. Shout out to Boom. Breakfast with Boom. Great show. Xbox should end E3 with black backdrop. You hear the sound of goggles going on. 3 green lights and a voice saying, "I'm back," and it ends with Xbox exclusive Splinter Cell return. Wow,
awesome.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine?
No way Ubisoft would make that a freaking exclusive.
Oh man, if they did, wait, Microsoft has the money. That would be a mad one. Shout out to Boom for coming up with that idea.
Exclusive.
I love the fact
that would
that
be an epic reveal, though. Yeah,
that would be amazing. Yodani, you have to go take it, man. That would be incredible because Splinter Cell was exclusive. It started off like an Xbox One. Xbox, the original classic game, was only on Xbox. Yeah, and PC.
Yeah.
No, I had it on PS2.
Oh, they came later on.
Splinter Cell, was it? Oh, was it later on? Okay.
Yeah, Splinter Cell definitely was. For a while. Yeah, Splinter Cell was the source. But yeah, oh man. Yeah, Raiden, don't get us excited for things that might not happen, man. Probably won't happen. What you do. So Dying Light 2, man. Like, Asa, you play Dying Light? Are you a fan of that?
Yeah, I had a similar experience to you in that Ben cheated his way through and it was just a bit of a blur. But game and studio. It is, if you haven't played it yet. So they just repackaged and re-released the first one as well. I don't think they've touched it up or anything, but it's pretty cheap. If you haven't played it yet, it is good fun to run around and stomp some zombies. Give it a go.
Yeah, I've heard like nothing but good things about that game. Honestly,
it's really good. Because I had this thing with zombie games because there's so many of them. They do not make the mistake I initially did and just park it as one generic zombie game. It is not, and even the original game. You can play Dying Light 1, man. It's so much fun. The co-op is so good. I'm a big co-op guy as well.
And you got a release date.
Yeah, December.
I think it was December. Yeah,
December 7th. Yeah, that's good, and I hope they can commit to that date because it's a bit tricky business. Going into that. Another big piece of news that came out of nowhere, and this is actually pretty massive news. You were asking about there's Nintendo news. We'll go back to a bit about Xbox and E3 in a bit, but what the hell, man? The Switch Pro is all but confirmed now. It's happening.
Do it.
do it. They said do it, but people can't even get a hold of bloody the normal Nintendo Switch.
Well, it's not a PS5. It's readily available. Don't worry.
So where does this story span from? Basically, another Bloomberg article stating what they found. Like,
what's wrong with Bloomberg?
Decent try at it. Tony, did you see our Jason Schreier little skit for the Source episode? You haven't seen it, have you?
I have no context as to what this whole story is.
Oh man, you have to watch it because Safe and people in chat who watched the episode of the Source, he was he played Jason Schreier in that, and you have to watch it, man. It's such a. I'm
a method actor, by the way, so I had to live with him for 3 months and study his movements. And I think I got it. I think I nailed it.
Yeah. Oh man, a machine gun mic. Thank you so much for showing that.
I learned a lot. I'll be honest with you.
Got to know a little too much, maybe.
But I think it is the Bloomberg article, and I think it's another source also confirmed. It's pretty much it's happening, and there's not. I think you can pretty much bank on this happening.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
But I know, Tony, you're going to be hyped about Switch Pro. I have a big question around what's happening with the Switch Pro and where that leaves the Switch, a console that is still remarkably outselling even next-gen consoles. And how are they going to reconcile a Switch Pro with a Switch? Is it going to be like an HD version of the Switch? It's definitely launching with Breath of the Wild 2, I imagine. And we'll find that out in a couple of weeks. But what could they do, Tony? What should they just let the Switch
By
go?
reconcile, you're basically wondering like what about the system would make people want to buy it when they already have a Switch, kind of a thing.
Well, kind of. Or will Nintendo make Switch Pro only games, or is it just going to be a res upgrade or like better OLED screen? What is it that you're expecting from a Switch Pro?
Well, so as a Switch user, I'm not a passionate Switch user. I'm on my Xbox like 80% of the time, 10% PC, 10% Switch, but I still love it for the on the go. And the on the go thing is right off the bat one of the things that'll be really cool is because the on the go monitor that's on the base Switch model is 720p and it goes to like 900 or 1080p when it's on TV. But this case, it's kind of like not only potentially might it be able to do 4K on TV, that's fine and dandy. Honestly, Nintendo, I don't care about that stuff. What I do like though is on the go 1080. I do like that on the go 1080. So that's one thing I think would be really cool. If the screen size, I debate about this, but like I see JFH saying a 7-inch OLED is pretty sweet. If that's true, like I don't know if I would want it to be any bigger, for sure not smaller, because the nice thing about it is how portable it is. But I really don't think Nintendo will make exclusives for this thing. I really don't think they will, because
neither do I.
Their Switch is like the hottest selling cake they have had in so long. I would say since the Wii. They haven't had a console sell this freaking hard. 3DS too. Sorry, 3DS as well. But so I don't think they want to like demarket that, player base that they've built. So
it would be silly, kind of, if you think about it.
It's pretty much gonna have to be like have a better battery life with more resolution and play these great games the most optimal way that there is to play, kind of a thing. It's like a 1X situation. You don't need it, but if you want to upgrade a bit, then
it's
there
nice
you go.
To have. I have to disagree with you a little bit on that, because I think Nintendo have shown in the past that I wouldn't say so much really exclusive games to the souped up versions of their console, but I think they will do extra things with the Switch Pro or Super Switch, whatever they're going to call it. For example, 3DS. Remember they had I think they should call it Super Switch, but the 3DS had the new version, the new 3DS, right? And there were some games that were exclusive to that. I think there was like Hyrule Warriors, the portable version. There was Xenoblade Chronicles. I think they will do some games that are only playable on Super Switch or Switch Pro. I reckon they will. Or content that is not accessible on the base model Switch, possibly. But like Kibuji was saying, I'm really looking forward to having like a higher resolution screen on the handheld mode. 4K on TV, great, fantastic. I mean, I play my Switch sometimes docked. It looks fine. It's fine. Depends on the game you're playing. But handheld is where it's at. And it's, I was actually hoping for a 4K handheld mode, but maybe that's too much to ask. But 1080p would be really, really swell. And I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to upgrade definitely, because I think the Switch, the games are, when they have exclusive games and when they're done well, they're done really well. For me, nothing beats a good Nintendo exclusive first party game. But we need to see more of those, you know what I mean? So if the Switch Pro has more power behind it, I'm all for it personally. I would love to see that. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are. Randall makes a good point. He goes, he's got 3-hour battery life on his AAA games, and he wants to see an upgrade there.
Yeah, it would be good.
Yeah, that'd be good. I don't know if we will see. I bet it'd be nice to see Switch Pro only and make use of the power, but I don't know. I like this. Super Switch though. What a great name. That's a good name. I've never heard that before. That's better than Switch Pro, because you end up with the Wii U problem, kind of, almost.
Yeah, exactly. And also it's kind of a throwback to the Super Nintendo as well. So it's kind of like it's a nice retro futuristic kind of. I don't know, that's my opinion anyway. I don't know.
I think that's a stellar name. That's actually really good. If Nintendo are listening and they haven't got that in their plans for some weird reason, they'd be like, "Oh, shit.
Do it."
Do it now. Asa, you're not a Switch Nintendo fan.
What?
I didn't even ask you about the Switch.
Asa, you.
Yeah, I come.
We already went through this.
Completely different angle to
Every
these
time
two,
he brings up.
because
Okay, what's your angle?
I don't care about the portability of it. If I try and play a portable console, it'll be because I'm on a train or something, and then I just throw up all over that portable console. It's not for me. I care about the docked
Stop drinking
experience.
on the train then.
But no, the rumours though are that it's not a resolution upgrade in portable mode. So I don't know. I haven't heard that rumor for a little while since the most recent batch came out. But the rumors that I heard were that it is an OLED screen, but it's still 720p. For the sake of
I think that's
battery
what I saw,
life and the rest of it, because you have to consider though, if it's a 7-inch screen, 720p is a pretty good pixel density. So you're wasting a lot of battery power to up that resolution for potentially not very much benefit. And what I heard is that they're not pushing that resolution, which makes you wonder how much of the enhancements are in the handheld and how much are in the dock. Because if the enhancements are for people with a 4K TV, you wouldn't expect those to be carried around in your pocket. So we'll see what it is when it comes out. But I'm personally, there's a few Switch games. I've said I don't particularly like Nintendo consoles because I just don't. But I want to play Astral Chain. I want to play Bravely Default 2. There's a couple of others that I want to play on that console, and I would like to see them as a good home user experience. So that's what I want from the Switch Pro. And if they do that, then yes, I will be getting one, and yes, I'll be playing those games.
You got to play Astral Chain, man. I hope a sequel comes out for that because that's a really good game.
It's a whole different question on whether the Switch Pro is going to do anything for previous games like Astral Chain. Will it benefit from it? I don't know. Don't know anything yet.
So. Well, I think we'll find out soon. We'll definitely find out soon. The floodgates are starting to open on that. Tony?
Super Smash Brothers Ultimate.
Ultimate, this time it's...
What do you guys think this thing will be priced? If and when it comes out, do you think they just like keep it at the same $300 to try to replace it, or do you think they try to make it more?
Nintendo could charge triple the price and they wouldn't have any shame in doing so. I don't think they would stick to the price. I think they'll charge like $350, which is kind of crazy. But I don't know. I don't know. Like, that's a very good question.
Yeah.
If they made it like 400, then they could make like get the light for 200, get the regular 300, and then this version 400. I don't know, but
maybe. That's a good point. I don't know what they'll do with that. All I know is scalpers will have a very good time with this.
Yes.
They'll be making a lot of money. They'll be making a lot of money with that. So yeah.
Wait, do they have to show something Metroid? Yes, they do, Derek. They need to right now.
Now. I want
the thing I wanted to bring up earlier, though, so I mentioned the point earlier about the glider thing. As Safe said, Nintendo, like, they don't always have like launch exclusives, especially we could even look at Breath of the Wild, which is, I would argue, a massive reason why the Switch had such a fire start kind of a thing, as they launched with one of the best launch exclusives or launch games ever. But both Breath of the Wild and way back when the Wii and Wii U were out, or sorry, no, GameCube to Wii, it was Twilight Princess, I think.
Twilight Princess,
yeah.
On GameCube,
So I'm kind of wondering, like Gaz mentioned this, if they launch it, if they do try to time it with Breath of the Wild sequel. And the funniest thing I heard all week on these shows is like, if they launch this thing, they launch this system with the Breath of the Wild sequel at like September or October, somewhere in that fall season, and then Horizon Forbidden West comes out at the same time.
No, man, that would be
they get
amazing.
Screwed again.
That would be amazing. I would love that. I would love the absolute fallout of tears.
I would just be so like, if I was Guerrilla, I'd be like, "Are you fucking
Nintendo again?
Really? Again?"
I would love that to happen.
That would be artistic, but it would be hilarious.
It would be.
I know where my money's gonna go, though. So.
Yeah, 100%. If there's a choice, it's gonna be. I know where my money's going.
Zelda.
3 out of 4. 3 out of 4.
But that would be. That, can you imagine? I so pray that happens. Just because of the fallout.
I want them to have their own light.
I know. Horizon Guerrilla Games will be fine. They'll be fine. But
They'll be fine.
The internet and the tears and the hateful. I remember the hateful Zelda. Oh my god!
Can you imagine the memes?
Dude, I got a friend that he's like a super PlayStation Nintendo guy, and Breath of the Wild came out, and he's telling me now like, I'm really excited for Horizon because I never played Horizon. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah. It'll stop a lot of people. Like, oh man, it's just gonna be amazing. That's a good point. I'd love to see that happening. Games Lord, thank you so much for the HRK 10 and your broken spacebar. Nintendo Switch DLSS or Nintendo Switch Advance?
No, that's the name of the console. That's the full name. Even the Nintendo Switch DLSSR or Nintendo Switch Advanced like GBA.
That'd be a bit of a mouthful. I don't think that'd probably outdo the Wii U in terms of poor naming convention.
Spiritual Virus is a bit cynical.
Funniest name I've heard is Power Switch. It's
Power
so dumb.
Switch. Yeah,
it's so dumb, but it's literal.
Yeah, Power Switch.
Imagine if they switched the names round of the smaller model, call it the Light Switch instead of Switch Lite.
Switch Heavy. Ooh.
I think we'll stick to Super Switch. That was a good name. You guys are going downhill after that. But yeah, no, that it's gonna. So this E3, man, we've got 2 weeks. Well, less than 2 weeks. It's gonna be pretty mad. Either way, there's gonna be waves. We're gonna see what Xbox finally has. Sony has not actually officially at E3. It's not at E3, but they'll do something around it, I'm sure. But then there's this whole Jeff Keighley kind of Summer Games mess. Is that still seen as part of E3? Is its own thing? I don't even know anymore with this COVID nonsense. Yeah. It's just a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy. So yeah, there's a lot. There's going to be so much fun. I've got a video in the works for our Xbox fans who want to know what's happening with E3 and what Xbox. My take on what I think Xbox need to do at E3. I should be out on Monday. But yeah, no, we have a lot of content coming. It's going to be a really exciting time. We've waited since launch for this moment, and it's so close. I took time off work for this because it's gonna be lit. Yep. So yeah, sorry, real gamers. But I think we've touched everything. Well, actually, wow. Oh, Asa, you do like the Source. I can't believe I missed this topic out.
He loves the South.
Yeah, he does. Randy Pitchford on Twitter this week confirming to me, as always, guys, Sony is the big guy in this, and I said it. So Randy Pitchford came on Twitter to say that Borderlands will. It was weird. He said, "Good news, Borderlands is crossplay on all platforms. Bad news, it's not on PlayStation because of some publisher issue." Asa, that is Sony putting the brakes on things because people are like, "Oh no, but that means the publisher." But why would the publisher put a stopgap, put brakes on that unless it was Sony saying so, right? Sony are stopping or making it difficult for the publisher to enable crossplay Borderlands. What's happening here before I take my wild take to another level?
For sure, you're right. It's got to be something that Sony are doing. So Randy's twit, I say twit, other people say tweet, get used to it. Randy's twit.
Sagboy and twit.
It could have been much worse, let's be honest.
He's very deliberate with it though. I say he's weaponizing social media there because he dropped that and just walked away. Didn't answer any questions. Like, oh, by the way, Sony are causing problems for us. Have at them was basically the tweet. But yeah, it says that the publisher, like the crossplay was in all versions, and the publisher said you have to take out the PlayStation version to get through certification, and that's Sony's certification process. Yeah. And there's some fairly wild theories about what it is that's getting in the way, but it could be any number of things. So we know about the fees that Sony charge depending on where people are spending, and for context, I've seen people say that like Sony are charging $1 million or something for crossplay. That's not the case, but they are charging money for it potentially, depending on spending and so forth. It's also a really complicated policy, that is. So
yeah,
there's a lot to it besides the money side of it. They're asking for marketing data, and there's nothing reciprocal in there. So Sony's policy is like, if people are spending elsewhere, we need to take some of your money, publisher. And they're not saying if people are spending like playing elsewhere and spending here, we'll reimburse you some of that money. It doesn't go two ways. It's Sony saying potentially you're losing 45% on all your sales instead of 30%. So it's not a nice policy for any publisher who cares about their bottom line to sign up to in the first place.
Yeah.
Much as I've said in the past that Sony aren't being evil protecting themselves there, but the policy needs to be refined if it's even this one that's causing the problem. And there's presumably other policies around what they're opening for crossplay in general. But definitely sticking out like a sore thumb that it's not on PlayStation and that Randy wants you to go on the attack.
Yeah, it's the way he's I don't know about Randy, but that was it. That's a mic drop moment, and he left for us to go wild and speculate. Safe. I want to ask you this, man. Like, you know me, man. Sometimes I have an axe to grind with PlayStation because of things like this.
Sometimes, yeah, I've noticed. Yeah.
Just a little bit.
Tiny bit.
The source may be geared towards that.
I mean, you may well be racist against Sony. I don't know.
I'm not racist against Team Blue. I like the Smurfs. Sonic was my favorite. But Team Blue really does do things that really annoy me. And this crossplay, and it's not a console warring point. It's something I really, really care about. And Sony and me and Acer, we're going back and forth on this. And it's not like I disagree with Acer's the notion that the rug is being pulled under Sony because that's potentially harming them and the monetization because someone else is making the money. But ultimately, even if it was for last gen for the players and PlayStation 4, I still think that you can't parade that so strongly and then do this, and it's ultimately harming the consumers.
Yeah, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's not for the players. It's not, and it really annoys me, man. So, what should we not? Am I justified in calling out Sony strongly, like I do in my source video?
You are. Now you've got a point. Maybe you do come across a little bit too critical of them, but to be honest with you, they haven't been for the players for a while now. To be honest, and this particular subject seems pretty petty to me. I don't know the full ins and outs and how it works and everything, but at the end of the day, what matters really is the consumers, the players, the gamers. We want to be able to enjoy games in however form that takes. I understand there's a business behind it. There's money involved, of course. Decisions have to be made, but for the players, where is for the players, man? Come on, sort us out.
Unless they're PlayStation players, but then you'll be depriving them for playing from their friends on other platforms.
That's the thing. And you know what? I'll tell you what's promising though in this generation. What I've noticed, especially online, you see all the big wigs from these companies, from Microsoft and Sony, is they're talking to each other and they're encouraging each other. Especially Microsoft and Nintendo. The way that Microsoft has been talking about Nintendo, they love those guys, and it's really nice to see. I mean, console wars are good for business, I guess, and it kind of makes things exciting for us as consumers. The marketing, watching all these things being revealed, and who's going to do what. But at the end of the day, it's very nice for them to get along because we just want to play games. We want to enjoy ourselves, and we want to play with each other. Not in the naughty way that Ace is thinking right now. I can see your face. No, but like we just want to enjoy the games. You know what I mean? And this kind of behavior is harmful. Yeah. In my opinion. You know what I mean? So it's silly. It's silly.
Yeah. Tony, do you people say I weaponize this topic, and I do weaponize this topic because I actually do feel strongly about it, and a lot of fanboys say will naturally weaponize it for their own agendas. But I've also seen a whole swath of PlayStation guys trying to downplay it. Some say, I don't want to play with Xbox guys. So, well, unlike you, some of us have friends and they play on other platforms. So shut your mouth. Shut your mouth because we do have friends. Ben has never touched an Xbox console. That has changed. Racist against Team Green. And it's changed the dynamic, man. It's not a console point. We need to make a stand against this. We need to really rake Sony through the coals over crossplay. I really feel that. What do you think about that? Or does it even affect you?
So it doesn't. Well, it does. It depends on what the game is because I have a good deal of friends that primarily play on PlayStation, and I wouldn't be able to play with them. Fortunately, most of the multiplayer games I play are either crossplay already or they're all on Xbox. But there's an interesting chat message I want to read out here that it's somewhat my feelings. It's like Nightwolf, and he says, Sony wants money for crossplay, but why do Sony fans care? Thought they didn't play old games, lol. And that's kind of that's the narrative I just see all the time from PlayStation. I don't like to call them fanboys. I like to call them flag wavers because I think it's fun to be a fan. But
Sag wavers.
I see all these SAG boys, yeah. But I see all these flag wavers just like, oh, have fun playing old games and stuff. And then if they're going to complain about this, then shush. But it's kind of different because this is about like being able to play with friends and whatnot, or being able to play with whoever. And that's definitely on the side of oppressive. The main thing I also know about this is that Sony just charges a lot for to be able to crossplay and stuff, and that's just really it's unfortunate. It really is, to make developers and publishers hesitate to be like, okay, well, PlayStation is going to charge us this much, and okay, never mind.
It's putting them off it. If it's a lot or not, we don't know. It's based on whatever that rate formula was, but it's the problem that, like Asa was saying, there are different asks there. There are reporting obligations, or your finances can be sensitive. There are marketing data asks and other kinds of data asks, requests there that they'll add more time to an expense to the logistics of providing it, especially if you're doing a retrospective of old games they're doing it. I can imagine it being a bit of a minefield. And so a publisher will be kind of put off by it. I'm like, well, just forget it, man. It's not worth the hassle because these guys are really making it difficult. I just hope that it's not obstructive enough. We have seen a lot of games that are crossplay. Sony has allowed the big ones, but like games like Titanfall, for instance, that would really do well with crossplay. I know best with EA and Respawn. Maybe they can actually withstand all the problems that Sony impart or put on them. But I just think with a $70 thing, the way Sony communicates, your controllers can't go forward. Then this crossplay thing, like all this indie stuff, and then like whereas the competition is giving you free games, they're opening crossplay, they're doing everything the opposite. I get it that I give a lot of shtick, and I want Xbox to do well because for once I would want them to just win a generation, but it's very easy this generation for me to pick Xbox's side because PlayStation take the mick, and crossplay is one of those things I just really want to slap them across the face with, because I just think don't do that, man, because like all joking aside, I just think it's just so lame. For me personally, but I don't know. There may be guys in chat. You might think, "Oh, it's justified. It's all business, bro." But if it's all business, we're consumers, man. We may understand.
It's just business, nothing personal. Forget about it.
Forget about it. But yeah, no. So, but that's a somber moment. Let's not let Sony ruin.
Yeah, Sony, you ruined my Christmas.
Yeah, he did. And our Christmas is coming, guys, and E3 is going to be here. And in one way, shape, or form, I have some doubts about. Actually, this is a good way to round it out. I want to ask you guys how good you think E3 is going to be, and this is going to. And guys in chat, I want to know primarily from an Xbox point because they're the big player in this, but generally, if you want, do you think Xbox is going to smash it at E3 this year? Do you think it's going to be killing it? Put the source icon, but that's only for members. Yes, Xbox will smash it. No, I know, maybe for the reasonable people. No, don't say maybe. No, maybe's not allowed. Don't be Asa. Asa, what do you think is going to happen at E3 this year? Are you hyped? Are you hyped for E3? Are you hyped for anything?
Maybe.
In life? No, maybe.
You have a soul.
E3's like, we've been looking forward to it for so long. Like we've said, last year was all CGI and it was a little bit disappointing for understandable reasons. I'm massively looking forward to this one. I know Sony aren't there, but I don't look at it entirely through an Xbox lens. Xbox have a big presence there, but all the third parties are there as well, and you've heard things about supposedly a Final Fantasy Souls-like and things like that are exciting as well. Nintendo are probably doing some toys and shit, I don't know. Nintendo, I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to get massively carried away. A lot of the Xbox community, Colt and Randall Thor and people like that are saying to keep your expectations in check. Screw them, I'm hyped. I want to see the good stuff. Go.
Yeah, so do I. I mean, Colt kind of are the view like, well, we're hearing things, but at the same time, we're like, no, it could go either way. So yeah. And people in chat says it's going to be, Xbox going to kill it. Leo says no. Ashley says it's going to be good. And people are saying, oh, Victor says Xboxes will smash it. They need Xbox to... That's a good point. And I agree with you. Well, to a certain degree, they need Xbox to make E3 relevant. I don't want E3 to go away. I want E3 to be amazing. I hope E3's back next year as a physical event with some massive comeback. But yeah, no, I think it'll be good. Tony, what are your hype? I know you, man. You're like me, man. You're hype, man. You want the source. Are you?
I live for the hype. If you guys haven't seen my channel yet, you can click there and you'll see on my banner, build game hype. Because that's what I love, man. I
love that.
E3, and it's funny you mentioned like how you took, like, I'm taking work off, where I'm like, I told my boss the same thing. I'm like, listen, my Super Bowl is happening in June and it might last like a week long.
Exactly.
So how are we gonna make that work? And he's like, oh, that's all good. I'm like, but but yeah, E3 is just my favorite time of year. It is hype city. There's totally room for disappointment and there's totally room for surprises. It's the hypest time to be a gamer, in my opinion. And in terms of, what was the original question? Like if Xbox is gonna do great, or if like, or if there's gonna be show. Yeah. To be honest, like I'm looking forward to all parties, and it's funny enough, I am looking forward to the Nintendo part most.
Oh,
even though I am I'm personally going to be playing most of the stuff that shows up in the Xbox stuff, so you think that's what I'm most excited about.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen. I thought the July show of Xbox last year was cool.
Yeah.
I haven't seen a kick-ass Nintendo show since 2019
Exactly.
E3.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm like, I just want to see Nintendo just be the talk of the freaking show.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
Yeah, because it's just been a long time since I've seen Nintendo have a show like that. But I'll be looking forward to all of them. I really wish EA was there. I guess they're not going to be. Maybe they'll have a reveal there, but they're not doing their own showcase. Ubisoft, whatever.
Just show us some maps and some icons.
Yeah, at this point, I'll definitely be kind of like paying the most attention to the Xbox show, but I'm really, really hoping the Nintendo one is the one that's like, holy crapples. So yes,
and hopefully finally, we see Metroid. It will be holy crapples.
Oh my god, please,
please.
It's about time, man.
Just something.
It's
just
way
something.
over.
Just remind people it exists. That's all. Just remind us it exists.
Yeah, definitely.
Just have Shigeru Miyamoto cosplay as Samus. I'm happy with that. That's fine.
I don't even.
He can send me photos afterwards. That's fine.
Yeah. Shout out to the 166 people watching live. Smash that like button. We're just about to do a round off on our final topic, which is E3 hype. Guys, keep us up on the chat. If you like, you can be PlayStation fan.
I'll be so rude, guys. Not joking.
It's just fine, Ryan. You can be a PlayStation and Nintendo fanboy. It's good to have balance on our chat. We like that. Safe.
Yes,
what
sir.
are you hyped about? Yeah, I like that both of you are actually primarily Nintendo guys. It's quite different.
No, I'm an Xbox guy.
He's an Xbox guy. He likes Nintendo.
And you got PlayStation top on. We can just see that now.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I wasn't. I agree with you guys. I really like the positivity, and it's good to be hyped. It's nice to be excited about something. Let's bloody look forward to something this year, guys. Come on, man.
Yeah,
please.
Come on.
You know what I mean? We've been depressed all this time. All right, listen. I have been disappointed by E3 before, in the last few years, actually. And I 100% agree with Tony as well that Nintendo, I'm really hoping that they show something cool. They missed out on the Zelda 35th anniversary. They're not doing it properly, rather. Okay, Skyward Sword, fine. Okay, give us something cool. Give us some more virtual console games. Reveal something fun. But please give us Metroid. We have to have something. I know it's been like they started development again and whatever. Give us something, please. Please, Nintendo. We need Metroid. And maybe, if you're feeling generous, maybe F-Zero. Just, if you want. I don't mind, personally. Please do it.
Oh, F-Zero would be amazing.
It would be amazing, exactly. And now is the time. It's overdue as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think now it's good to be excited about E3. For me, it's like your Super Bowl. It's like our World Cup or whatever. Insert generic sporting event here. Whichever. This is the thing I get excited about every year. This is my only thing. I don't watch sports and stuff like that. I'm a sad kind of guy. But I think Microsoft, with what they have behind them, the backing they have, the developers they have with them, the engines, everything they've got, they seem to be carrying this thing. So I think that they are going to have the best show. And at this point, it looks like the only show. I mean, Nintendo's going to do a little direct thing, probably. Who knows? You know, I hope not. But anyway. But yeah, Microsoft are carrying this thing. But I really hope that Nintendo have a stronger presence this year, and I'm excited for the future. Let's do it.
That's
Xbox show will definitely have the biggest. I definitely think.
Absolutely.
In terms of like,
Xbox, and I've got a video coming out, guys. Hopefully recorded, finishing tomorrow, and it's about Xbox and what Xbox needs to do. Xbox has the biggest presence, most likely at E3, but that doesn't mean it's gonna have the best show, or it will satisfy everyone. Everyone has their own metric for success. So my bar is always really high, and Asa always says this to me, like, you're really critical of Microsoft from a point of just wanting it to do well, and that's so true. That's so true. And it's like a fanboy thing. It's fine, but I really will be the first to really sometimes maybe be unreasonable in my my critique. Maybe I don't think so, but who knows, man. But E3 is going to be it's happening. We're ramping up our content. There's going to be so much source going in. Thank you guys for tuning in. Just smash that like button, share it out. And,
do it, share.
And I see the comments. Yeah. Oh, no, I hope for another Tomb Raider game. It's been a while as well, Ryan.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Yeah, and we need to see that. But it could be amazing, man. We could have God of War Ragnarok, which is not that. We could have Zelda Breath of the Wild 2. You could have Starfield. You're gonna have Halo Infinite, possibly looking dank. Forza Horizon. We didn't actually talk about it. One of my best games of all races of all time. Forza Horizon. Actually, 3. The one in Australia. It's gonna definitely be there. You can mark my words. It's gonna be at E3, and it's gonna be set at Mexico or South America. I forget which one, but it's definitely coming. It's gonna be really good. It's gonna be a mad show either way, guys. Just enjoy the gaming, like someone said in the chat. If you are a PlayStation fan, then you're gonna be in good stead. In Xbox, you have so much to be excited for. Xbox has never looked stronger. And if you're a Nintendo fan, you've got a new console to look forward to, as well as some of the best IPs in the gaming space, bar none. So it's a great time to be a gamer. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We're definitely wrapping up the content very soon. Soon we'll be talking about our live streaming stuff. Become members of our show. You get the Source t-shirt, which is on GameOnDaily.store, and support us, and we will make sure we prop you from the bosoms. I don't know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us. And I'll see. I don't know what that meant, but if you're listening to us on Spotify, Asa is doing the show motion. But thank you so much for tuning in, supporting us. It means a lot. Guys. Honestly, it does. It really does. Thank you. Ryan says he's subscribing. Thank you. It means a lot. Ryan. And we will see you next week. But before that, you'll see my video on Monday. Take care. Peace out. Mad love from the Game On Daily family.